growing up as a young man, all my male mentors teaching me to be a better man in life, they always talk about brotherhood. They always talk about loyalty. They always talk about integrity. Becoming a man who has integrity. Becoming a loyal friend to your friends, to people around you. Not being a snake. Not being an opportunistic person in expense of your friends, expense of the people around you whom you deem they are your brothers. Shout out to Mighty Jamie for speaking about him finally questioning the integrity and the loyalty levels of Floyd Shivambu, because it's not just Mighty Jamie, it's plenty of people who are starting to question the integrity and the loyalty of Floyd Shivambu. But I want you to listen to what Mighty Jamie had to say about this.
I mean, yeah. So now back to Floyd.
Yeah.
The other thing about the conversation that I found to be, I think, insufficient for me is this idea of the brotherhood, not the gangster stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know, for me, loyalty does mean something. You know, sometimes on my platform, people will come and say, no, I like the way you did it. SMWX must. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm not going to be disloyal to SMWX when I have a relationship with SMWX. Sure. I may even agree with you, but I will never come out in the public and say that, because I actually appreciate the opportunities I've gotten on SMWX, the conversations we've had. We did cool stuff. So I felt that the gangsterism stuff to me made me question the loyalty element. And I want leaders who are trustworthy. You know, and when I raised that issue, people say, no, you hate Floyd. I said, no, I don't know him. I've never met him outside of a few instances where, you know, maybe at the conventions or whatever, conferences, like in that kind of a space. I don't know the guy. We didn't sit down and have a fight about a slay queen or anything like that. I don't know him. But when I heard him say those things, that bothered me. I was like, but now you, and then later on I heard him say that Lozi is his brother. That he's been best friends with him for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
All right, but you just said Julius was your brother.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of brother are you? Is this a Cain and Abel type of brotherhood, or what?
You know what surprised me was that, and that only in that interview. And like you said, it's so easy to watch an interview and think like, oh, but I would have done this and I could have said that. You don't know what it's like to be sitting down with Floyd Shivambu and he's like breaking for the first time.
Yeah.
You're confused too. You're like, what did he just say? Like, and you're making sense of it as he's speaking, right? But what surprised me, and I only think I realized in that interview, was that there was personal animosity between the two. Because up to that point, now everyone acts like they knew that because they watched the interview, which told them that, right? But it was perfectly stage managed when they did a press conference together, right? Up to my interview, that's what we knew. We knew that they had done a press conference, everything was good. We
thought the brotherhood was still intact.
Brotherhood was still intact, right? So we all learned, and I learned in real time, that no, there actually was some kind of fallout here. What remains unexplained is what the source of that fallout was, whether it was personal, political, or some combination of the two. But I was genuinely surprised by that, because I thought the two were on good terms, and it felt to me like after that, like, oh wow, it turns out, okay, there's actually some bad blood here.
I think that's fair, and I think it is clear that there is some stuff. Maybe they'll resolve it over time. You know, people, when you follow people, even parasocially, which is how we follow a lot of these politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
You just think of people as combos, you know, like this Floyd and Julius, you know, and so on and so forth. This Beyonce and Jay-Z and stuff. And even if you don't know them, and even if there's a real and fair justification for a split, at some point it'll still like make you feel uncomfortable, because as a human being, you're like, oh, but those two, they go together. Or because you've seen them go together for so long. So I think there is that element, and I think even within the EFF there are people who feel betrayed, and you can see that in the discourse.
Definitely,
because
it's personal.
On Twitter there, when you check the comments, it's been bubbling, and you can see the animosity. And even when this Lozi story comes up, you can now see that there's a defensiveness because of how everything played out with Floyd.
That's Mighty Jamie for you. And as a man, if you don't agree with this, and it doesn't have to be solely about Floyd Shivambu, because this, I didn't want to make it about Floyd Shivambu. I just wanted to make it about man to man. Me and you were speaking. So we are speaking. It's me and you. Do you want a guy who you deem your friend, and then next thing is snaking you, going out in public, discrediting you, discrediting your brotherhood, even saying that me and you can't be, there's nothing like brotherhood. This brotherhood thing, people look at it as a gangster thing, whereby here you die, where I die, and things like that. Do you want a friend who's gonna do that later on in life? Maybe if you fight about something, maybe if you disagree about something ideologically or any other way. Do you want a friend who's gonna go in public and say those things? And if your friend says that, how are you gonna look at that guy after he does that to you? Are you gonna be like, oh, this man, yeah, he's a loyal man? How are the people around you guys, people who thought you were friends, you were best friends, you were these two people, the partners, the unbreakables? How do you think the people will see that guy after he has left you and spoken like that about you? Do you think they will respect him? Do you think they will see him as a loyal guy? Do you think the next friends he's gonna make are gonna believe that this guy one day is never gonna, they're gonna always keep their guard up. They're gonna always keep their eyes open, because this man, if he was able to do that to someone who has started up a political party with from the ground up, imagine us who yes just came to us because our thing seems to be flourishing, seems to be happening, all the clout is on us, seems to be progressing. He only came when this thing is progressing, when the ship is finally flowing, and yeah, the tides are not against it. He only came while the ship was moving. Do you think the people within that ship are gonna be like, oh, he left his brother because his brother's ship was kind of sinking and he came to our ship for rescue? How do you think those people are gonna look at him? Because after all, there is men within the MK party. There is men who are keeping their guard up, men who want to protect their integrity, men who can smell a snake from afar. Otherwise, you're just trying to tell me the MK people are just not as smart as they are made to be. If you don't think that some of them, they can see that there's a snake who has just came here, then maybe you don't understand how men think. Maybe you should learn about men, because men, the minute you show that you are not trustworthy, you are not a loyal guy, when you come around them, they're gonna always wanna protect their space. They're gonna always wanna keep their guards up about you, because hey muna, mtangu, daman, ay man, emuna, you did what? He's not your brother. You say that. We thought, oh, okay, it's a political relationship for 11 years, and then you are only here for 5 months. What is this relationship with us? Do you think there's not men who are gonna do that? They're gonna do that. And if you don't believe that, maybe you don't understand certain things about manhood and brotherhood. But you learn one day, you'll understand what we're talking about. But it is what it is. Thank you very much.